Here's video 5E. It's our last video in Unit 5. I know it's been a long unit, but I hope you're enjoying the hands-on practice of writing HTML. In this final lesson, we're going to learn how to style with CSS. And the good news is you don't have to listen to my voice for most of it. So let's go ahead and see how we're going to learn about CSS, or cascading style sheets. Okay, we've done some styling in HTML. We did a lot of it in section 5D. We used the style equals attribute within an individual tag, whether that tag was a P for paragraph, or a division, or a span, or a list item, or a table data element. This works great if we use it sparingly. Now, our websites so far aren't that big, but suppose you're putting together the website for a large corporation, a large media company, a large gaming organization, and so on. You've got hundreds of pages in your website, and the websites are big with lots of elements. And you've got more than one person working on the HTML. It's a nightmare to have to put all of the style as style equals all over the place. What works better is if you can apply styles to lots of data and make it be the same style, so you get the same look and feel on the 20th page in to your website as you did on the top one. So HTML provides alternate ways to do the styling. One of them is to include an external style sheet, which is a separate file that contains all your styling information. You link to it with a link tag in the head section of your HTML. So somewhere in between head and /head, where we've had the title before, you're going to include link, REL, that's relationship, equals style sheet, type equals text /CSS. You're going to type this part exactly as it is, and then href, you put whatever the reference is to your style sheet. You're going to include that's one way to do it, an external style sheet. Or you can include an internal style sheet. The internal style sheet's exactly the same as an external style sheet, but instead of putting it in a separate file like this, you put it right in the head section of your HTML. You put style, end style inside the head section. We did this. We didn't call it creating an internal style sheet, but we did this a little bit when we included borders on our tables in section 5C. The tutorial that you're going to use to learn this is going to use primarily internal style sheets so that everything is contained all in one place when you do your practice on it. But everything you learn about an internal style sheet works for an external style sheet also. Or you can do inline styling, which is what you just did in 5D. Style equals on individual tags. So how are you going to learn this? Instead of me going through everything on CSS, you're going to go through the CSS tutorial on the W3 Schools website. W3, remember, that's World Wide Web Schools. Here's the link for it, and I'm going to have the link clickable for you in the web page in GOA Canvas, so you can just click on it to go there, or you can copy this down and bookmark it. There's a lot of sections in this tutorial. You should work through the sections from CSS home through CSS pseudo class, and I'll just show it to you in a second. After you've been through it, you're ready to do assignment 5E, in which you'll apply some cascading style sheets to your hobby website. So let's see if I can bring up the CSS Schools website. Here it is. We're at w3schools.com, CSS default. You notice over here on the left it's got a nice navigation bar, has lots and lots of topics. You're not going to go through all those. You're going to go from CSS home through CSS pseudo class. Now let me just pick one of these at random. Let's look at CSS lists. If I go to this page, it tells you a little bit about what can happen. It gives you an example, and then these try it yourselves are great. On the try it yourself, it says, here's some example code on the left, and here's what the result is, and you just change it and play around with it until you understand it. So notice this is using from style to end style. It's an internal style sheet, and it's got a few things in here. Suppose I decided I wanted to change something, and I wanted to make this list style type disk instead of circle. Now, you don't know all of the selectors in CSS yet, but take a look on the right and see what changes when I do see result. All of a sudden, these changed. So you get to play with whatever you want. Doesn't matter what you do, it's not graded. You try things so you can see, do I understand what goes on? Then you go back and you go through other examples. There's lots of examples. If you want, you can test yourself with some exercises. That's up to you. Gives you more practice. If you got enough time for it, great. But I want you to read through and learn about the things from CSS Home through CSS Pseudo class. All right? Now, what is your assignment going to be? You're going to take your hobby website, start with the version from 5C or 5D, add an external style sheet, use the same external style sheet for all the pages of your website, use CSS to provide a nice looking navigation bar, either along the top or the left side of each page. You'll have to use CSS pseudo classes to make sure that the choices in the navigation bar change colors. There are some great examples in the Try It's of the W3 Schools tutorial. You may be able to copy and paste and then modify some things to make your site look great. Then include whatever other CSS features you think will enhance the look and feel of your website. That's it. Open-ended assignment. One thing you need to do, make sure you get navigation bars. Anything else you're going to do is based on what you learned that you think is going to be working nicely with your website. Okay, go start doing the tutorial right now, get to the assignment, then you're done with this unit.